Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are calling in from. My name is Michelle Araujo, and you are here for Client Portal and Smart Conditions. So let's jump right in. I have everybody on mute, but please feel free to type your questions into the webinar control panel. If you do have questions for me, I will answer all questions at the end. All right, so let's talk about Client Portal and Smart Conditions, two different pieces of the system, but they both work really, really well together. We're going to talk about what the Smart Conditions are, and I'm going to show you how to set up your own. I'm going to show you what the Client Portal looks like and why you should use it or why you should convince your customers to use it. I am going to talk about how to personalize it and set it up, what the client sees, and how to review the uploaded documents. So, in simplest terms, Smart Conditions are the way that you set up your conditions to automatically fire for the right application. So what I mean by that is you would set them up in your settings and you would say, anytime I have a salaried client, I ask for a job letter and a pay stub. Anytime I have a self-employed client, I ask for 2 years T1 generals and 2 years NOA. If I have a second mortgage, I ask for an existing mortgage statement. If I have a purchase plus improvement, I always ask for a purchase and sale agreement and a contractor's quote. So in many cases, these can be set up as smart conditions and they can be defaulted for you. Before I show you how to set these up, I'm going to show you what you're going for. So the end result is you're trying to find an application or you're trying to have an application where self-employed people have their correct income conditions firing for them, even with the comments already in there. Most recent 3 years, please include all pages. Or for purchases, I need 3 months down payment confirmation via bank statements. Or for a purchase, I need an MLS listing. So creating a checklist that has the typical conditions that you ask for most of the time. Now, that doesn't mean that you're stuck with this. So maybe in most cases, I ask for 2 years T1 generals, but for this particular file, I only need 1 year. I can adjust it as needed, but it gives me most of my conditions based on the application that I have selected. So based on whether or not my deal is a purchase or a refi or an equity takeout. Getting your condition list to fire automatically is the goal. So if you take a few minutes to set up your smart conditions, I'll show you how to do it so that they are automatically creating a conditions checklist for you every time you do a new deal. I'll show you how it does it. So conditions and documents, I expand. If I have set up smart conditions, I get this blue bar. If I haven't, I will not see this blue bar. So I click this bar and it will take all of my conditions and all of my rules and check my deal, and it spits back my all of the information that I need for my borrowers. You can see here on this one, I put 2 pieces of ID for February and 2 pieces of ID for Jack. I'm asking for T1 generals, NOAs, MLS listings. So it's creating a checklist for me automatically. I'll tell you why you want a checklist next in the second part of this session. So here's how you do it on your Velocity. You are going to hang up when we get off the phone here, and you're going to go under Me and Settings. You're going to go down. While your settings page loads up, you're going to scroll approximately halfway down the page, and you're going to go to the section called Smart Conditions. And you're going to decide which conditions do you want to add and what rules, what filters do you want the system to check before it applies this condition. So let's start with a pay stub, add. Now these are all of the filters that you can choose to add or not to add to this condition. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to expand the borrower filters. And if I tick this little box, it means I'm going to ask for 1 pay stub for each borrower. So if I have 4 borrowers and they are all salary, then this is going to say 1 pay stub for borrower 1, 1 pay stub for borrower 2, 1 pay stub for borrower 3, and 1 pay stub for borrower 4. So this means 1 for each customer. And then this is what we are filtering on. So I'm going to ask for a pay stub anytime you are salary, hourly, and hourly plus commissions. So those would be an example of an income filter. So pay stub, only if my borrowers meet one of these matches. I don't really care about subject property filters in this case. I don't really have existing property filters or mortgage request filters. All I care about is what is the borrower's current employment status. And then if it's not fully self-explanatory in the name of the condition, I always like to add a few more descriptive words so the client knows exactly what I'm asking for. So anytime you want the customer to see the notes, you put it in the external notes section. Internal notes are for you and your assistant only, but I usually just focus on the external notes. And if it's something like must be recent or must be issued within the last 30 days, then I would add those little comments in there so that they are pre-filled when you get there. Another example is job letter. So for a letter of employment, you would click add, just exactly the same as pay stub. You would say, yes, I want one job letter for each borrower. Sometimes that means 4 job letters if I have 4 applicants. And again, it's for my salary people, my hourly people, and maybe my hourly plus commissions. Description would be things like must be on company letterhead and whatever your little helpful tips to your client, they go in there, and then you click save. Let's do self-employed clients. So for my self-employed people, I normally get 2 years T1 generals and 2 years NOA. So I would start with, see, it's just generic, right? T1 general. I wanted to say 2 years or 3 years or 4 pages. First thing is the filter. Yes, I want one T1 general for each applicant if they all happen to be commissions or self-employed, maybe even your partially commissioned people. I don't know. I'll leave that one up to you if you add this one in or not. And then I like to give as much detail as I can. Recent 2 years T1 general, please include all pages. Same thing with a notice of assessment. So let's switch away from income for a minute, give you some more examples. Bank statements. I always want to confirm down payment via bank statement if it's a purchase or a purchase plus. Down payment being verified via bank statements. If you're using a gift, please show the gift being deposited. Like this could be as detailed or as generic as you like for the down payment confirmation. Other examples, if you're using any kind of rental, perhaps you need to get some lease agreements or tenancy agreements. If you don't see the name of a condition that you're looking for, or we have one but you don't like the name of it, you can add to this list. So let's say tenancy agreement is not the wording you would normally use. Well, then guess what? I can go up here and I can add to the list. I can create my own custom conditions. You just have to say which section do you want it to appear under. And I'm going to call this my lease agreements because I feel like that makes more sense for my demographic. So all I did was I added a custom condition, but I still have to make it smart. So now I should be able to find it in my list. There we go. Lease agreements. I want a lease agreement anytime that I am using rental income. So if I have an existing property with rent and with rent, I want a lease agreement for each property that I'm using rental income for. And then maybe I'm going to put a description in. If I'm doing a refi, I always put an appraisal in there. Sometimes I don't need the appraisal, sometimes it gets waived, but I generally would say, yes, if it's a refi or an ETO, I need an appraisal. If it's a refi or ETO, I need your current property tax notice. So go down the list and find all the conditions that make sense and add them in with some filters, and more importantly, add some comments in there. So I've got my appraisal. I even put in my solicitor, my signed commitment. I've put in my contractor's quote if it's a purchase plus improvements. I've put in my property tax notice, my lease agreements. Oh, appraisal is duplicated, so I'm going to get rid of that one. So you don't want to have duplications in there. But I even go one step further and I put in my provincial disclosure forms and my client consent so that I don't have to remember to add those in on every single deal. That's how you set up smart conditions. What do you ask for when it's a second mortgage? What do you ask for if someone is new to Canada? What do you ask for if someone is here on a work visa? These are all things that you can use as filters. And then the end result is, if you've done it correctly, the next time that you go into an application and you click on the conditions and documents section, the conditions and documents section will offer to create an automatic condition list for you. And when I click on this blue bar, it will automatically populate my list and say I need a job letter and I need a pay stub and I need 2 years T1 generals, and I can tweak this up as much as I need to tweak it to make it make sense. All right, now, why do you want to have a conditions list? For those of you who missed this during intermediate training, or maybe you haven't made it to intermediate training, this is where you can track, number one, your end goal is to have a file complete, to have a all lender conditions met category. This is your goal on every application, is to get it to the waiting to close stage. So this is where you can upload any conditions that you have in your possession. So I have a job letter from this guy. I'm going to upload it. I'm going to store all of my documents right in Velocity. So I'm going to upload his job letter. If you are using Client Portal, which we're going to talk about next, the client will be able to drop these documents right into each condition line as they have them. And even if they are still emailing them to you, you could simply drag and drop documents onto any of these lines so that you're storing all your documents in here. You can then email these documents over to your underwriter, or you could download them into a zip folder so you can drag and drop them into your lender's portal. You can indicate that conditions have been satisfied, have been sent to the lender, and you can indicate when conditions have been satisfied. So this helps you to stay on top of all of your conditions and say, these conditions are all good. The lender is happy with all of these. I'm still waiting on your bank statement and your contractor's quote and your MLS listing. So this is all the stuff that you're still waiting for, and it helps you to stay organized by going through that way. So that's why I like having smart conditions creating a checklist for me. But that's one reason I like it. My most favorite reason for having a full list of conditions is that now I can invite my client to drop these documents right into Velocity. So I would select by putting a check mark beside any condition you want to ask for. You put a little check mark. So I already have the job letter. I don't need this one. So any conditions that I actually need, I would select. Then I would go to the actions and I would email the documents through the client portal. If you pick the wrong one, you'll know right away because the upload column will be missing. Let me show you that again. Let's go back to our conditions and documents. Actions. It's the only email option that is under the client portal heading. This whole section is client portal, and this is the one that you want. And you'll know you did it right because you have the upload button and the big upload button at the bottom. I always also like to put a little descriptor in there that just explains to my clients what the client portal is in case they don't notice the big upload button. I always like to paste a quick little eye-catching item in there, and I like to tell them about how it's fast and it's more secure, and how we encrypt all the documents from end to end. It's safer than email, and it goes straight into my deal, and then you can skip the scanner. So I always like to tell them all of those top reasons for using the client portal. And speaking of the top reasons for using the client portal, just in case you are not sure how to explain it, it is more secure than sending over email. It does make it faster to get the documents in because you don't have to open email and download and upload into the system. It automatically converts any documents to a PDF. So if your client uploads a JPEG or a PNG or a doc, a Word doc, it will convert it to PDF for you. You can split, move, and merge the documents inside Velocity, and you can skip the scanner and upload from your phone or any device. So those are our top reasons for recommending using the portal. Now, let me show you what the client will see right here. So Michelle Araujo has requested documents from you, and here are my documents that were requested. Here is my little blurb at the front, and there is the upload button. Same thing on my phone as on my computer. So when you click upload, you go straight into Velocity. There is no need to download, no need to create a special account or a special fancy password. You are straight in. This intro paragraph can be customized. You can put your description or your explanation or even your instructions right up there. but I think the instructions are pretty self-explanatory. Highlight the item you would like to upload. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this one. Over here is the T1 General. Please use the drag and drop or the select files button to add your T1 General. So that's what you do. You click select files. If you're on your phone, it'll give you the option to take a picture. If you are a drag and drop kind of person, you drag and drop into this cloud. If you are a select files kind of girl like I am, you click select files and you locate whatever it is and click open. They can add free-form comments at the bottom. They can see the progress bar showing how many of how many of the documents have you uploaded. 67% of the documents have been uploaded. This is the only one still missing is the pay stub. I can add free-form comments down here, and I can push I'm done or complete. Hitting the complete button means that the broker will be notified right away. If you want to customize your client portal so that it has a message from you or it contains your phone number or your instructions, the place you do it is same as Smart Conditions. It's under Me and Settings. And when you go under Me and Settings, you will find the option to go in there and customize under the client portal. So you can customize this, make the text bigger, make the text smaller, and that is where you customize the client portal. Just as an FYI, my client portal says Velocity across the top. If you are part of DLC or Mortgage Center Canada or Mortgage Architects, it will have the corresponding banner for you. For independents right now, you have to stick with the Velocity banner for the time being, just temporarily. So what happens now is that you will be notified that documents have been uploaded into your application. When you are notified, you will log back into your deal and you will have a look and see which documents have been uploaded through the portal, and you want to double check them. And if you like them, you want to lock them down. Okay, so this is the little legend here. I asked for these 3 documents, pay stub, T1 General, and property tax. I received 2 of them so far. This is my little legend here. So I received these 2, and that's how I know that they were done by the client portal upload. Whereas this one, I uploaded it myself. See, this one was not uploaded by the customer. So I have a few options with all these documents. If I expand, I can see all of my options. I can view either by clicking here or the paperclip. I can check and see if the document looks good. If I hate it, if it's the wrong document altogether, I can throw it in the trash can. If it is the right document, but it's on the wrong line, I can click move and I can move it to the correct condition that it's supposed to be on. If it is like a 20 page PDF, I can merge them all into one PDF. And if it's a document, if they scanned, 15 pages, 15 conditions all on one, it has a built-in splitter as well. So let me see if I can find a better example of a split document. This one. So if you click on split, you can see all the pages of the PDF, and it's just a matter of drag and dropping and saying this page actually belongs over here. And you just drag and drop to all the different locations and click save. Okay, if you like the condition the way that it is, then there's only one thing to do, and that is confirm. This little confirm button is your best friend if you're using the portal. This confirm button means that you have removed this T1 General from the portal. The client no longer has the access to see it or view it, or maybe even delete it by accident. This is the most important piece of the puzzle. If you receive the document through the portal, confirm it and lock it down. Remove it from the portal. That's all I have for today, folks. I hope that was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. There is a handy little video on our Velocity training page, so newton.ca. If you haven't been here yet, click on training and jump aboard the Velocity train. There is a section specifically devoted to client portal, and it shows you all of those steps in video format. It shows you all of the selling features that you might let your client know about, and it also has a step-by-step instructions. Well, thanks so much for being here, guys. I hope that you enjoyed that. We'll talk to you later.